growth in crypto and AI is not an easy thing. Thank you for everyone that is here. Blingoh is the co-founder of Radarblock. So he's gonna give you his playbook on how to make these things correctly. Of course, there is good way and a bad way of doing growth for AI projects, and he's gonna be sharing you how to make this from the MVP part to all the customer journey until conversion for any of your projects on AI. So please, warm welcome to Blingoh.
Hey. Okay, so first of all, we have Capex here. So my slides have a lot of Capex mentioned. So it's kind of cool, but I sound chilly now. But yeah, we've got a lot of people in the foyer area. So can we make some noise like woo? Just to get them in, it's like something very cool is happening inside. But yeah, I think I'll come to this side. So what's super interesting is we spent the last one and a half year working with a lot of AI protocols. Just to give you some context into what we do, we're a Web3 native growth marketing agency. We attach ourselves to these marketing teams and help them scale. I'll go into details of who we've worked with, what we've done, how we do it. But what is the agenda of this specific keynote is to understand that what can growth look like if you're building that killer AI application. And I've kind of broken it down to certain steps so that it's easier to follow. And I think that should be good. But personally, I see a lot of friends sitting around here. So just for those who are listening, I'd love for you guys to interact with me. So I always start with something that's personal. And some of those who've seen my slides yesterday, all slides are different except the first one. So I just updated the price of Bitcoin. So I have a short open. I get liquidated at 97. So all of you I consider as my friends. So if you see price going up, please DM me on Telegram to add more margin. But I think we're doing good in general. So the growth playbook for crypto x AI or building the next viral AI product. So I'll start with some background of myself. I was working in Polygon DeFi, and then after that, Kyber Network, trying to understand a lot of things that are happening in Web3, just trying to get a sense of what we can do better and how. And that's why we started. So Radarblock, Web3 native growth marketing agency, been in the market for 3 years. It's our first flagship event this week. So one is AI Block Summit. The other one was Growth Radar yesterday. So a lot of you who have come again, we really appreciate it, and we hope to see more support in Dubai. But what do we do best? We do campaign design, go-to-market strategy, community building, and a lot of degen stuff. So the degen proof kind of comes from the t-shirts. So we're pretty plugged into the market, trying to understand what is happening, yada, yada, yada. Work with many good brands, Capex being one of them. A lot of them are here, Vana, Pini. We see David here, so a lot of good friends. We try to help them. We're working with Symbiotic, just trying to understand everything that's happening in Web3 altogether. My name is Blingoh. It has this whole story to it. It comes from the dog in Cocomelon called Bingo. So has a good rhyme to it. It goes I have a puppy. His name is Bingo. I have a puppy, cute as a rainbow. So I kind of thought that it's super cool, but people kind of forget it next time when they meet me in another conference, if they call me Bingo alone. But 25-year-old, big fan of everything that happens in wrestling. But yeah, coming to the topic, just trying to understand it better. A lot of work that we did was with top tier AI protocols. So a very big difference in hiring an agency and getting talent in-house is that when you hire an agency, what do you go for? So if you think of Web3 landscape, agencies have this winning edge, kind of, in things that have been just built out. So a lot of def AI, a lot of other things did not exist 1 year ago. But the good thing about it is that we've worked with a lot of protocols in this whole time. So our team has gotten some leverage over generic in-house talent, which is kind of cool because we've done this over and over again, which is why we're showcasing this growth playbook for the first time. What are the contents? We'll go over 5 things very specifically, a lot of which have been discussed in this room throughout the day. But what we want to understand is step by step, what should I change? What should I do better in my protocol? And again, while it is curated for AI, you'll see a lot of it can be done for other protocols like something you're building in DeFi, something you're doing on the gaming side. But 5 steps, very specific: MVP, optimizing user experience, figuring out distribution channels, MEV, which is not your generic MEV, just trying to go back to my old roots of DeFi. And last step would be achieving virality. So step 1, MVP. A lot of you are founders in this room. Sometimes founders have this idea that I will make the perfect MVP or the perfect product before launching it. What we have seen from a lot of communities that we've built is people don't like things that work. People like to complain. People like to make noise. So the best products in Web3 right now are actually broken, which is kind of spicy thing to say, right? But what's the good thing about their community is super angry. So community goes into this Discord and starts screaming that, hey, this project is not working. What is this shit, right? But the good part about it is, at least it is talking to you. You get this attempt to redeem yourself and fix the product and convert them into good users. How do we do that? I've kind of identified some growth vectors that kind of go into your MVP, which is like super interesting. What is like the biggest challenge when it comes to when you're building like a AI protocol, right? Now, the market is very cyclic. So we saw like AI agents come like last year for the first time. Then they kind of went away. So at this time, every AVS kind of switched to becoming an AI agent. So everyone started building the AI agent. But then you saw a slowdown till like end of June, July. Eventually, we saw virtuals come out and everyone was building like an agentic framework. So agentic framework hype kind of lasted till everything happening on the DeFi side. So changing narrative is like this big problem in Web3 right now. And again, when it comes to AI, because you're a smaller segment of the larger Web3 crowd, it kind of becomes difficult because you build this product for 3 months and suddenly the market has changed. What do I know now, right? So that's one of them. The second is market volatility. This conference is happening at a time where your all-time high in AI has gone down like 85%. So the whole narrative across like what is happening kind of keeps on changing because the prices have gone down. Builders don't want to build. A lot of people don't want to interact with it anymore because things have kind of changed, right? But what else is there? It's hard to get developers in this space because AI is still relatively new. User education is difficult. People don't know the use case yet. It's hard. We're still in that education phase of AI. But lastly, what it really matters is your product is not immune to everything that's happening in this industry, right? Your MVP is meant for acquiring early stage users. So let's say if we're looking at this innovation graph, we're just trying to get that 2.5% of innovators and 13.5% of early adopters come in, talk to us, and give some feedback on what is happening on the project side. So fail fast, kill fast, very old saying, very startup-esque, and it's been repeated like hundreds of times. But the point is, you figure out, you ship something, you see the traction. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you move on to the next thing. So the idea is don't keep on perfecting the project. It can go like in different ways. But let's try to understand, since AI is like more relatively new to Web3, I want to take like the case studies of how user adoption looks like. So I have the example of Vana, who launched out like their whole application layer before the mainnet launch in like 3 phases. So what started with like a data hero app, which was an AI application where you can tap to mine points. So it's like less of AI, more of like a growth hack to actually get some users into the ecosystem. So even if you go and launch your AI protocol tomorrow, you have to ease in the onboarding experience altogether. So you can't start from everything that's happening like, hey, can you connect your Spotify account, everything else? You have to go slow. So it started from like tap to mine. Then it became a V2 application where you had to tell, is this AI generated or not? So the idea is like smoothen out the user experience into smaller chunks to get like more people talking about you, more people understanding your project. Tap to mine is easy. Anyone can tap on the screen, right? So it was a good hook to get people into the ecosystem, and eventually you start educating them further. Last step in this whole stage was the data hub, which is again still in the MVP stage, right? Was basically where you can connect your different data sources and now start contributing to data on chain. So there are 2 ways to go around it, right? You can go from top to bottom, or you can just start from here. The idea is to like split this into like smaller parts. You do something which is easy to onboard, then you slowly shift to utility. Eventually you you make your MVP altogether. So the idea is that this adoption curve is staggered. You need to give them time to actually educate themselves. So that's like super important. But let's not forget what MVP is for. It's just to validate your thesis. It's not your final product. You have like a roadmap, you've raised like millions of dollars and you have to do a lot of things. So I'll not go into token and everything else, but I want to show a lot of good examples. Step 2, optimizing the user experience. Build for like smoother user experience. Like, let's say if you have that 13.5% coming in, I got my first 100 users using the protocol. If my UX is not good, they will not stay. So you kind of keep on falling into this pit, which is that how do I get early users? So that's where UX kind of comes in. So I want to show you like some examples of like how Capex did it. So one of the coolest things about the Capex application was it had sound feedback. So let's say if I clicked on any button, you'll see that ka-ching sound to it, right? Like you're always in that crypto-esque casino feel to it. So if you're building that application, and I think my co-founder is here and he keeps complaining about moonshot application. Every time the price goes up for anything that you have that notification on, it goes like ka-ching on his phone and it keeps on happening. Like he's getting a lot of money into his bank account or what. So the cool thing is like it gets your attention. The second thing was like a very simplified interface. Whatever you're building, your product is like Web3, but UX is not Web3, right? UX has been there for the longest time. So there should not be this differentiation made that my MVP has like bad user interface. User interface has been there for the longest time. You can solve that easily. You just need to put like more time and effort to it. But lastly, it was like variable rewards. So you see a lot of these weekly leaderboards that are in-house, and this is like a Telegram mini app. So when you see applications which are built at enterprise grade at MVP level with a good UX, it has like a lot of returning users, which is directly related to your user experience. Step 3, the distribution channels. So what does distribution mean is the action of sharing something out to a lot of people. What has been something which is common in a lot of these applications? So we have Vana here, has more than 1.5 million users. We have KiteAI, it has more than 1 million monthly active users on the Telegram application. We have Capex, which has, as of yet, again, these numbers can be updated, but 422,000 active users at the moment. A lot of them have one thing in common, which is basically a retail consumer app. So if you're building in crypto and you're building for AI, a lot of people actually want to access your projects on the phone. So it is super important for you to understand that your retail distribution is really dependent on the application you're making. And this application solves a lot of your problems, like anything that you don't like on the Twitter side, you'll say that, hey, I want like more followers, blah, blah, blah. I'm a marketing agency, I know. A lot of people want more followers. But your retail application or your consumer-facing application kind of solves that problem really well. Because you can have your own application, bootstrap users there, they're in your ecosystem, and then you can incentivize them to do different actions, be it as simple as using Twitter or more complicated as like, you know, showcasing data or like trying to contribute, do training, influence, a lot of things. What matters a lot is 7 billion mobile users in the world, 70 million people who have crypto wallets. So it's super important to build that retail-facing layer to everything that you're building. Step 4, maximum extractable value, designing campaigns that align the whole flywheel. So this is a big one. Campaign designing can be done for everything that you're doing on your side. So what I'm showing right in front of you is like a conventional Web3 optimized campaign design funnel. It has a lot of things. So you have like discovery channels at top of the funnel. You have interactive channels middle of the funnel and loyalty channels at the bottom, right? And each of them has like different things happening. But what's super interesting about each one of them is that you have some big activations done. So every campaign in general starts with one big idea, that what is that nexus event that is happening, right? So let's say you're launching your mainnet tomorrow, right? That's your nexus event. Now you try to understand what are your discovery channels like. Maybe you'll do like a partnerships announcement. Maybe you do like a podcast appearance. Maybe you'll come to a conference and speak, right? There are several ways to think about it. But the idea is you take that big nexus event and move it down to the interactive channels. Interactive channels matter a lot because you'll talk to people here. You'll actually convert them into users. And a lot of crypto teams kind of forget this, and this is not specific to AI, that you need to do enough work on this side. You need to build your community. You need to foster them, talk to them, get your founders actually interacting with them. But lastly, it's about like loyalty channels. Like eventually, when you do enough of everything in the bottom and actually on the top and middle, then you'll get to the bottom. So your points program is actually at the bottom of the funnel. So you can't just skip all the steps and say that, hey, I'm launching points tomorrow, can I get like more users? It doesn't work like that. But what does a good example of like maximum output look like? So KiteAI, who are also sponsors of this event, by the way, did this big announcement with Avalanche that they are building an AI layer 1 subnet. That announcement is a big enough Nexus event to bootstrap your community and get some users to the table. Having done this in an optimized campaign side, where you actually work with the community a lot, you get your partners activated, you start interacting with your community, you get like clear comms out on how the community can leverage anything that we're building, you get these results. So in 1 month, they got like 300K Discord members, 2 million plus testnet wallet connects, and the testnet got broken. Why? Because you had every piece of the funnel aligned to the interest of yours. You had the Discord right, everything user flow was optimized, your campaigns were optimized, everything on the social side was good, you had a PR going out, you had key leaders from like Avalanche team aligned, and that leads to like a big push in your community, which can be replicated in different ways. Here, we're showing you an example of a partnership with Avalanche. In PiniAI's case, it was like one of the biggest announcements that kind of bootstrapped the whole flywheel. And there can be several ways to think about it. But we have like some of the top ones right in front of you. Last one is basically virality. A lot of us are young people. I see someone taking a selfie right in front of me. So the idea is like, how can we actually do that at scale? Like everyone likes to take pictures, right? So hunt for that Ghibli moment of crypto x AI, right? So basically we have like a lot of things that were shared in like different Twitter profiles. And the idea is that actually, if you build something which is super cool, people will share it. So the idea is you need to think of your brand features and convert them into like social currency. How do we do that? It can be, ChatGPT's example is great, right? So everyone who actually liked this Ghibli art actually posted it. So it's not you marketing your product directly. It's actually turning your feature into a social currency and try to optimize it. They could have rolled out the image feature like directly as well. But lastly, I just want to talk about one thing, which is fostering your community. So a lot of times we talk about AI in crypto. The conventional big tech companies have a lot of things in AI, but there's only one thing that they don't have. That's basically community. We've never seen an example of someone saying, I love OpenAI like that, right? And this is not an AI generated picture. It's a real person, right? So this is the kind of power Web3 has, which it can bring to crypto x AI, that a lot of big tech companies don't have users who actually care about your brand. So foster them, take care of them, give them tools, and they will convert it into social currency. But that's all of it. Thank you.